Anti-mail order bride laws in the Philippines. In the Philippines, it is illegal to operate marriage agencies. The anti-mail order bride laws are to protect the ladies of the Philippines from exploitation. Now, have you ever wondered why? It is illegal to operate any matchmaking services with the intention of matching up Filipina ladies and foreigners for the purposes of marriage. Now, that applies to online agencies and to physical agencies. That applies to any business or service that even promotes matchmaking with men from overseas. And this is written in the Republic Act 6955, or RA 6955. In the preamble of that act, it states it is an act to declare unlawful the practice of matching Filipino women for marriage to foreign nationals on a mail order basis and other similar practices, including the advertisement, publication, printing or distribution of brochures, flyers and other propaganda materials in furtherance thereof and providing penalty thereof. Now, why is matchmaking illegal in the Philippines? Now, I used to wonder why this law was put in place. It's been law in the Philippines since 1990, and being an Aussie, I initially didn't get it at all. I'm not an exploiter myself. I treat women as ladies no matter what. Therefore, the need never really occurred to me. Marriage agencies exist in Australia, well, why not here? Now, there was a feature film made in 1991 called Filipina Dream Girls. Whilst it was released a year after the law was enacted, it aptly demonstrates the reason why this law was made. Now, how does it do this? It portrayed genuine exploitation that would most certainly exist in the Philippines if these laws didn't exist. Now, the issue is not about stopping Australian men from marrying Filipino ladies. This isn't a xenophobic, anti-white man law or anything like that. No one here has a problem with Darren from Perth falling in love with Jenna Lynn from Batangas, but they do most certainly have an issue with those people who see Filipino people as commodities that they can make money off, especially promoting pretty girls with shallow promises about how Filipinas make submissive wives. Now, anybody married to a Filipina will find that quite hilarious because Filipina ladies tend to be quite strong. They're not the passive little bowing Asian woman who says, "Yes, my husband, because you are so superior." It doesn't work like that at all. You soon find out. But I can well remember the online agencies back in the 1990s, and they made out that each Filipina girl was like a carbon copy of all the others, and they would encourage men to write to 4 or 5 girls, visit them all, and then make a choice. I know, yuck, but that was how it was. Go and visit them all, and then go, oh, which one do I prefer? Oh, I like that one. Goodness me. I mean, even back then, I knew that was something very, very wrong with that. It's like going to a cattle parade and saying, let's line them up and make my choice. Anyway. Now, the movie Filipina Dreamgirls had a plot very much like that. Now, it was an English movie. Now, the English, the lonely English bachelors in the movie, they wrote letters to Filipina girls. The girls wrote back. They picked them, they had the catalogue. Oh, yeah, write to her. They wrote to them, the girl wrote back. The men all then came to Manila on a tour. They were met at the airport and whisked off to the agency. They stayed in the agency guest house. They met the girl in person that night, and they had a party with dancing and what have you, and they met the girls there. They got the girl into bed that night, and done deal. There they were, engaged and ready to go. Now, if this practice was legal, I could well imagine bar owners particularly here setting up marriage tour operations on the side, and most likely offering bonuses to their bar staff to get involved in the whole thing, and encouraging them to, jump on the men as soon as they arrived, and smother them in affection and promises of love and lots of sex and what have you. Easy money for them to make, and absolute trash relationships resulting, which would in fact do no favours to either the Filipino men the Filipino women or the Australian men. An absolute insult to Filipino women, and an insult to the sacred institution of marriage. Now, I mean, when you really think about it, I mean, if you understand the Philippines, and if you love the Filipino people, as I do, it's not the sort of thing that you really want to see happening in the country. You really don't want to see men turning up and being, matched up into trash relationships that they're not going to last. And in the meantime, there were people just getting rich from that. It's a pretty awful thing. Now, just regarding bars and bar girls, I mean, I have no issue with the girls themselves who work in bars. I'm a happily married man myself. I don't spend any time in the bar scene, and why would I? But the way I see it, most of these girls they're just trying to earn a living. I'm sure there is some human trafficking that takes place, but I suspect most of them work there of their own free will, and therefore it's their own decision to be there. I'm not sure I feel exactly the same about the owners of the bars. None of my business really, but I'm talking about the girls themselves. Now we have and I've always had plenty of clients who can do and will meet girls in bars, and they will hit it off and form relationships, and there are a lot of very happy marriages have come from that. So we cast no judgment at all. The point about that is they're doing so of their own free will, and it's the free will of the ladies that they meet as well. There's no manipulation taking place, there's no exploitation, there's no profiteering. Everyone is free to choose who they fall in love with and who they marry. It's a small world these days, and that means couples will meet online and they get to know each other, and relationships sometimes develop. In some cases, couples form relationships where they had actually no intention of this ever happening at all. And that's the way the world works nowadays. And these laws have nothing to do with that. Again, it's nothing to do with preventing relationships between Australian men and Filipino women. Treating Filipinos with respect. Now, this is a country where respect matters a great deal. Filipinos are generally shy and unassuming, fairly humble people, and generally always very willing to help others. Kindness is seen everywhere. You see very little arrogance or outward displays of pride. And most people you meet in the Philippines will show you a high level of respect, as they show to all people. And showing a lack of respect to anybody openly is quite shocking to Filipinos. And in return, they have very little tolerance to arrogant displays of disrespect towards themselves and towards other Filipinos, and most definitely, towards Filipino women. But look, you meet a Filipino lady, you fall in love with her, you treat her with kindness and respect, and the law will have no problems with you at all, nor will you encounter any objections from locals for marrying their country folk, as long as the love and the respect is there. But you add in some exploitation and you make marriage into a travesty, and it becomes a different matter. As far as I'm concerned, the law is a very good law. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it and you would like to subscribe, you can click on the little button down the bottom corner there, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. There are regular articles on aspects of Australian visas to the Philippines on www.downundervisa.com.au. There's a blog page you can subscribe to. There is a free visa assessment form, and there are regular articles on aspects of Australian-Filipino relationships, which you can see on www.FilipinaWives.com.au. If you can please share these articles and these videos on any of the social media that you use, we would appreciate that. Thank you.